The views and opinions expressed on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resort ownership or management. And now, on with the show.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
All right, we're back here at the Westgate Resort International Showroom in Elvis Presley's dressing room, continuing the interview with Nathin Miller. And he's got a couple more stories. Kelly got him a list of a few of the people that have worked in this room, and it helped jog some memories, I think. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember these guys now," And
it helps.
It helps. So now you can take and tell us, as you're looking at that list, tell us a little bit about some of these, because you've worked with Juliet Prowse and some of these others. So let's.
Yeah, Juliet Prowse, interesting. When the Hilton burned that time, was it the East Tower, North Tower?
Yeah, East Tower in 81. Yeah.
We were doing Juliet Prowse. She was opening for, I forget who it was. She was singing Fever, and the alarms were going off, and we went out the back door of the showroom, and the tower was burning. We, of course, shut the show down and all, but Julia Prowse was on stage and, believe it or not, singing the song Fever. Kind of fun.
So what'd they do with you? Did they kick everybody out? Did they tell you to go home? What was the routine there?
We shut down the stage, of course, and we all went home. Who was, if I remember right, Natalie Cole was in one of the towers, and I think a couple of us were going to go up and try and make sure she got out of the. We thought the whole hotel was going to go up. I don't remember quite who passed in that, but that opening night, we stayed around. We were going to go up to the tower, but Natalie, I think it was Natalie Cole, was here. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, yeah, we were allowed to go home. We came back the next day, and fortunately, the fire didn't take the whole tower.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think there was a couple people did die.
Yes, I believe
smoke
so.
inhalation. It
Not
wasn't
as
like
bad
the
as
MGM. It was just
Bingo.
like 3 months earlier.
Bingo.
3 or 4 months earlier, we had the MGM had caught fire in November, and then I think it was February of '81 when the Hilton went up in flames too. So
Yeah, it was a scary time.
changed everything. Everything in Las Vegas changed. Those two things made it so that they had to put fire
Sprinklers.
suppression in every room, every hall,
Bingo.
everything. Now the hotels are like the safest in the world because you're not going to burn in these places. You might get real wet, but you're not going to burn anymore. So that's solved all that. Thank heavens.
Sure did. Other names on this, I see Milton Berle. I actually worked Milton Berle on the stage.
And you have a story about him. You got him mad at you.
Oh, he was a little upset. God bless him. I heard he had some wild times in Playboy parties. But anyway, I was a deck sound man, and he had a mic stand. I guess had been with him for years, and it had carpet on the bottom, older mic stand, and we had brand new, state of the art at the Las Vegas Hilton. So I changed the mic stand. First show, he came back off stage. What's going on? I got yelled at by Milton Berle. Well, his man, of course, and Milton was standing there. Switch back to my mic stand, sir. And I did. Yes, sir, Mr. Berle. And the show went on.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, they have little things, it's little quirks that they have to have those certain little things.
Yes.
And that's what it is,
I remember doing the telethons with Jerry Lewis, and would do something in his dressing room, and you'd see his dressing table was all certain things he had to have, like a steel comb and stuff, and just old school, old school. And I always heard that he never wore the same pair of socks. He always gave away socks because people needed socks, clean socks. Things that stars need, they need it to make it, of course.
Yeah.
They want it, and they deserve it. They work hard. We have seen them work hard. Some not so hard, but...
but I don't think anybody really understands, excuse me, the what it takes to get out on stage in front of, 2,000 people or whatever, and put on a show for an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's what the audience sees. They didn't see the guy working for 20 years before that, doing the worst clubs in town, doing any job he could find, and finally gets to that point he can do it. These guys put in major time to get there. They put their dues in, and
Yeah,
for anyone to think that it's the life of
deserve it.
showbiz is easy, well, they got another thing coming, because you give everything you have every show every night.
that's right.
And
That's right. Lou Rawls. Here we go. We did Lou here. He was great.
yeah, I've done Lou Rawls here too. Back in the '90s, we did him.
Yeah, I think he had the beer sponsorship, and we always had free beer.
Oh, the Budweiser one or whatever.
Budweiser, yeah.
Budweiser, I think he did. Yeah,
And he was always a great guy.
yeah. Doing these shows that the acts that are sponsored by alcohol companies of any shape are pretty dangerous on here. It's just like we were talking earlier, Brooks and Dunn were sponsored by Coors, and it'd be pallets, 60, 80, 100, cases of beer backstage.
And if you were old drunk like me, we loved it.
Yeah, I'm a teetotaler, so I don't. It doesn't mess. I don't mess with any of it. But it's just like they would come to party. These bands, they came to perform and party.
Vegas.
It's Vegas, yeah. Have some fun.
I remember when we had, here's another name that looks good, Dwight Yoakam. He was here. I think you got me into that show once. He played.
Yeah,
on stage.
I did. Yeah,
He was
yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. And who else? Donna Summer. Donna Summer played the stage. She was amazing. When I first met her, she took Jim Fox on the road with her being a sound man. He was the sound man.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's right. Donna was fantastic. I'll never forget when he first introduced me to her. Had that look. She was fantastic, but she has since passed. God bless her.
Yeah, another potential victim from the 9/11 attack and being back in New York when all that asbestos and all that garbage was in the air. A lot of people, I think, suffered from that.
Jerry Van Dyke, he was so funny on this stage.
Oh, man. Okay. I tell people this about Jerry Van Dyke all the time. When you see him on the show Coach,
Right?
that's him.
That's right.
He is not acting. That was him. He is crazy. This guy is so funny and insane.
Oh, you just die laughing. And his little props, he'd always bring out.
His little mule train, and his little donkey, and all that stuff.
He was a funny, funny man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's passed too, God bless.
I think he has, yeah.
Smothers Brothers, they were fantastic. Tommy and Dick, they gave me a nice picture. Yeah, they were so funny. They did the original, that offbeat humor was so funny. I got a nice picture with them. They were just fantastic. And who else? Lola Falana. I worked Lola Falana here. Got a nice picture with her, too. Who else we got here? Look out. I like this list. It helps so much. Andy Williams. Boy. We went into him. He's Jose Feliciano. He was pretty nice, too.
Yeah, we had him here. A lot of the guys you worked with back in the 70s and, early 80s, whatever,
Right?
after Starlight left, after we changed the stage back to being a show, a headliner room, stuff like that, we started doing all these acts again. It's like they all came back.
Isn't that great?
It was absolutely fantastic. Jose was amazing.
He was.
He is just an amazing player. And I wanted to bring him back, and he wanted to come back, and he just never. I don't know why he never came back though. It just.
Phyllis Diller was one of my favorites, too. She wrote on my picture, "Nathin, you what?" She always used to tease me, and she used to have a little two-burner stove down here in the dressing room, and I always come down and have soup with her. Phyllis Diller. Oh, I used to ask her about her. She had, what was the car, Excaliburs or something? She had two of them in her home in Hollywood, and she always told me, if you ever come to Hollywood, you can drive my Excalibur. But she gave me a nice picture. Nathin, you what? Phyllis Diller was so, so funny. God bless her soul. Who else do we got on this? It's fantastic. I loved them all. They were all 99.9% of them were always so nice. Captain and Tennille were here once with me, and I was mixing sound one night for the head sound man, and something happened on stage, and they wanted to pause the show. And God bless the captain, he's gone now, but Tony was so nice. And they wanted to pause the show, and the whole audience was sitting there. And I came out of the booth and ran backstage to fix it or help, because I wasn't going to let the show go down. And they wrote on my picture, because most of the stars in those days always gave you a picture at the end. And they wrote on my picture, Tony wrote, "Thanks for saving our show, Nathan." I'll never forget that, because the show can't go down.
No, the show has to go on,
But
guys.
they had I don't forget who, they just wanted to, stop. No, we can't do that. But it worked out just fine. They were just fine. They had that big song, "Love Will Keep Us Together," and they were a good group.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the show, it's a true saying. It's not a joke. The show must, not, should go on. No, the show must go on. And I can only think of a couple times ever, because, the whole PA system went down one time because of a computer glitch, that we canceled shows or, something like that. But yeah, the show's got to go on.
I remember once John Davison shut the show down on this stage and he's gone now, he said, "The sound, I cannot sing no more." He brought the sound man on stage, and I wanted to know what's wrong with, how come you can't produce the sound that I want? He actually closed the show and came down to this dressing room, and Dick Lane was the entertainment director, and he came in, I guess he was home or something, to find out what the problem was. And John actually shut the show down. We came down because we were ordered to stay on site, and the audience left. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
John Davidson. I hope he's okay today. But he said, "You brought the sound man on stage." He's gone now, Ron, something. But anyway, crazy story, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty much uncalled for, but whatever.
It happened. I was there.
Yeah,
We all had to come down here, and there was a big meeting, and John Davison said, "You can take away my salary," or, sorry, John, but we went on anyway.
Yeah.
God bless.
Any other names on that list
Let's
there
see.
that Kelly brought you?
The Judds. We worked the Judds here. Fantastic group. Those two ladies,
Yeah.
God bless her soul, the mama. They were fantastic. When the country music, when they come to town, excuse me, the Judds, we'd have here a couple nights. They were fantastic. Fantastic. The sound, this room has a sound. I don't know if it still does or not.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
I hope it does. I was fortunate enough to work on the sound department and spent a lot of time in that grid doing this, plugging in this, doing this. But it always had a sound, especially like when Gladys Knight would sing, or Edie Gourmet, or some of when Ann Margaret would hit that one note in that one song, and that band would be cooking. And she had the most incredible dancers. Raw Satin, I think their name was. These boys could fly. And the sound in this room is good, real good. When we used to do Liberace, he liked the way the band was back on the concrete and all, but he made it sound whole. The sound was whole, he always said. The piano, it was great. Hope it still sounds the same thing.
I'm pretty
Same
sure
way.
it does. Yeah. It's.
I haven't been there since the night you let me in to see Dwight Yoakam, and that was killer. Yeah.
Yeah. The with the systems they have today that are so tuned so well now.
They used to use this room for like sound checks for Comdex. Didn't they do audio
Oh, we would do the keynotes in here.
Bingo.
Yeah, with Bill Gates and
Gates.
all of them. Yeah, everybody was in here. Yeah, those were the days when we had the CES stuff was going on, and literally Secret Service would take and sweep the room before Bill Gates showed up.
Of course.
But he's controlling all the computer systems for the whole nation, so he's got to be watched over and taken care of. And yeah, that was interesting watching all the bomb sniffing dogs and everything roam the place before he'd walk out and get into the room actually and stuff. So those were the days.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it, the old days. Some people say, forget about them. But that's why I got these pictures and autographs. And
Yeah, why would you want to forget about them?
I always figure if once you cash your check, if you haven't got the memories, how can you prove you were there?
Yeah.
Some people don't believe you, but I believe it. I was there. I'm fortunate enough to have been there and survived it. But some of these names, Wayne Newton, he was here quite a lot, wasn't he?
Whole bunch, yeah.
A whole bunch.
Through the 80s, he was here a whole bunch, and then he came in, then Starlight came in, then he came back and did a little bit here and there, but, it's that, by that time, he couldn't fill the room. He was doing, half the
Right.
room, basically. He was doing 800 instead of, 12, 1,500, whatever. So, but he's still nice. I mean,
Sure.
I enjoyed so much sitting over there on stage right before he'd walk out there and just talking about the shows that he's done over his life and just talking about his history.
Mr. Las Vegas in the old
Man,
days.
I'll tell
Remember
you.
when he would work, he would go from one hotel to the next, and when he was with Hughes, and he'd go across the street, do the Sands, then go across the street and he'd do like 4 shows in one night.
all over the place. Just I don't know how you could do it. Well, that's why he's got such. I think he just blew his voice out in some ways because he's really got that hoarse sound to him now. But I think that's part of it. He just did, and he didn't do short shows either.
3 hours sometimes.
Yeah, he just would keep going and going and going, and I think just took a toll on the voice. The vocal cords can't work that much.
That's right. Andy Williams, God bless him. There were some good acts here. Amazing. Who else? Jeffrey Osborne was good here too.
Yeah.
He had a good sound.
Yeah,
And,
we had him somewhere around the late 90s, early 2000s here.
Mhm.
And
I remember having the Young Rascals here. They got into a fight with Loopy over something, and it was, oh, come on. Oh,
I've worked around Loopy quite a bit, and Loopy, if he had had a few drinks or something, he could be a little cantankerous,
Loopy Carmona, God bless his soul. He was an amazing man. The magic, all the stars were always. We did a hit. I remember they did a video shoot with Engelbert wanted an opening video for his concert, and he dug Loopy, so they went out and did a video shoot somewhere, and he liked Loopy's hats. So in the one video, he's wearing Loopy's cowboy hat. And Loopy thought that was so cool, because Engelbert says, "I like that guy," But good times, good times. There was always good times. A lot of work though backstage. Sometimes people, like you said, would be day and night here.
yeah,
Sometimes.
whatever it takes to make the show go on.
We'd do 2 shows a night and then come back in the next morning, 10 a.m., do 10 to 4:30. And then if you did, like you said, television during the day, you just stay. Stay.
Yep, living here was not out of the question.
But
Don't do it too much anymore. Those days are. That's what.
Yes.
That's where we're talking about. Some of the things have changed. That's one of them. Yeah, they don't run it that hard. The expenses incurred to do that, and
Well, in the old days, when the mob ran it, of course, the showroom had to be perfect, and they didn't care as long as it made the audience happy.
yeah. Yep, they didn't mind spending a few dollars like that. The corporate mentality is a whole different animal compared to how this town was set up. But everything has to change. If you don't evolve, you'll be a dinosaur and die. So,
Amen.
anyways, why don't we call that the end of this episode 3? We'll take a few minute break and get some water, and then we'll continue on with episode 4 in just a minute. Until then, Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Don Ho. Wow. I remember him.
Tiny bubble.
We found him laying on the stage sleeping